Very stylish girl. How do I look?
My God, man. Do you know what this means? This ghetto's gonna be turned upside down, I tell you, upside down. If you get on his bad side, brother, you're done for. Now, it's only a matter of time before he finds out, and when he does, no matter where he is, get ready, gentlemen, because hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming. Hell's a-coming.
You think you're the best? I hope you are. A Gundam mobile suit is a fully articulated, fully equipped machine, armed with the most sophisticated weaponry known to man. To be a complete Gundam pilot, you must train on both Gundam systems. Believe me, gentlemen, to beat the best, you have to be the best.
Hey, this is Stephanie Shea, and you're listening to Gundam at MAHQ.
All right! Knock this shit off! I have been having a very bad day. Just got out of jail this morning. Already I have been shot at. I was on the bus that flipped over 17 times. Bitch tried to stab me in the bathroom. But somebody blew up my Porsche. I am in a bad goddamn mood. Now, I usually don't jump in when somebody's getting beat down. But this man, Jack Cates, is going to help me straighten out the rest of my day. Now I suggest y'all back up and let us go about our business.
Because you got a gun?
No, because I have a gun and I'll pop a cap in your ass.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Gundam and MAHQ, and this is episode 287. Oh my gosh. And joining me always is the Soul Bro and the Chris. Guys, say hello.
Hey man, 100 episodes from 187.
I know. Subtracted. We're a crime.
Yo, double homicide, baby.
Double homicide.
No, we still got some time to go. Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep, Chris, how's it going? How has 2024 been for banning? It has to be a good year for banning, right? I mean, any year.
I mean, in this 1 month, I've already banned more people than all of 2023 combined.
Nice.
I'm trying to compete with the video game industry in terms of layoffs because they already in this first month of the year laid off like almost as many people as all of last year. So I say, you know what? I'm a one up that.
Yeah,
Do better.
Damn. There you go.
It's always funny going back to those those internet archives, and it's like 2 years ago. Oh, the video game industry, it's going to be this and that. It's like 2 years later. Oh shit, it's a hellscape.
Man.
Now you got the thing of the Microsoft exclusives going on to PlayStation. What else are we gonna have? Like, I don't know. Cats and dogs are getting together. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's all crazy.
It's all coming to pieces.
So yeah, well, good for you, Chris. Good for you. I mean, it's always good to have lofty goals. I think you are the GOAT, as they would say in sports, of banning. I mean, if banning people from a forum or a site was a sport, I think you would be the Michael Jordan or the Babe Ruth of that. So yeah, there you go. There you go. So guys, you ready for tonight's episode?
Hell yeah.
We're going to be talking about it was a Netflix series, right? It had the soothing red N in front of it, right? Pluto.
Yes.
Always the sign of excellence. The N. I always look at that. I'm always like, oh, gives me a sense of warmth. I'm like, it'll be something. It'll be something I won't expect. And I'm like, damn, that was pretty good. Or you're gonna be like, oh shit, So that's where my subscription dollars go to. That's why they keep increasing my subscription. But guys, anything as I saunter over to the Larry King Memorial News Studio for some Neo's listener submitted news.
I do have something to mention.
You have,
go ahead, Chris.
Oh,
you have a PSA.
Jesus Christ! Hold on, it's like breaking news. It's like
Bum rush the
my
stage,
God.
baby.
I feel like one of those guys, that do the election coverage. Oh, hold on. We got Chris down in Florida. We got Soul Bro in Orlando. What is going on here, Chris? We'll go to you first. What's going
Chris.
on?
So, just a general PSA for everyone. If you were not aware, Blue Sky is out of beta and is now officially open to the public. You do not need an invite code anymore. So if you have been waiting to get the hell off of Twitter, now is your opportunity.
Yes.
And I am there. You can also find MAHQ and Gundam there. So
Yeah.
please join us. There's a good Mecha community of a lot of familiar names from Twitter, like Mark Simmons is there. Other chaps, Tim Eldred, from Otomes, Neil Nadelman, the famous anime translator. So there's lots of names out there on Blue Sky. So ditch the fucking Nazi site and come hang out with us on Blue Sky.
There you go, man.
For now is minimal on Nazis. Yes, I can't tell you for sure, but
Oh, come on, Chris. I mean, are you telling me that there's a place where you can actually have a thought and you're not going to be inundated with bots from, people trying to steal my credit card number or, my it sounds like my racist uncle or something like that? I mean, that sounds like that doesn't sound like it exists. I mean,
for now, sure, but I can't.
For
tell
now,
you about,
exactly. That's the problem.
I can't tell you about next week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so bro, I got to get with you again. I'm having problems logging into the Gundam account. I don't know why.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know why it was happening, but what we can, I think maybe it was the transition or who knows, but we'll
figure it out.
That.
That's what's up.
We'll figure it out. So yeah. Well, wow, thank you, Chris. Blue Sky. That's good. For a clear and blue world, right?
For a clear
and
yes.
Wait, no, not
No.
yet.
For a blue and pure world.
And somehow we're back where we started.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a second. Did I see you on Twitter?
Oh man.
All right. So bro, what's your news?
I wanted to give a big shout out to Ramses and Mula Flaga. They have a podcast called Saturday Morning Squad, a pop culture podcast. A couple of weeks ago, they actually invited me on as a guest to talk about, and which is funny because I just got his signature just this past weekend of Peter Cullen We talked about the amazing voice work of Peter Cullen, and we had a great time talking about it. The first 40% of it, we talked about what was going on, but then we got into the subject, and we went places I didn't expect to. It was a good conversation. If you guys want to check that out, you can follow them on Blue Sky that we just talked about at SATAM squad.bsky.social. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can get that. But you can find the podcast at thesaturdaymorn.transistor.fm. Also, if you go to I'll tell you what, I'll just put the link in the chat. There you go, bam.
Yeah,
and there you go. You guys can go there and check out the podcast on your free time. And thanks to them for having me on. You can also follow them on the hateful side of X at SATAM squad as well. So yeah, that's I wanted to mention that before we got started. And thank you guys for letting me do that. And if you want to take us to the news, let's do it.
All right. Well, before I start the news, listener submit the news, I'm going to just submit my own news to myself.
Let's go.
This is perfect. Well, I'm sure a lot of people know this. I don't know if Solbro and Chris know this, but we do have a new red comet. He was christened last week. That's 8-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton joining Ferrari. So he will be now a red comet. Did I say 8-time? Well, technically, yeah, they say 7, but he really did win the 2021 championship. But I'm sorry, the 2020. But I digress. So, but yeah, that's some good news there. And as I go into some news, listener submitted news, you can always go to submit your news articles in the news listener submitted news articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. Oh, the first one here comes from MCT Dread. Oh man, and he's got a article here that is saying Yokohama's iconic moving Gundam statue is going to close on March 31st.
Oh,
so yeah, I'm trying to get into the article, but internet is not understanding this. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be shutting down there. So I mean, wasn't it supposed to go away like about a year ago?
Yeah, it was extended because, things like Corona and whatnot. And I'm sad because I'm going to Japan later this year and miss it by a pretty wide margin. So
damn.
Oh,
I'm sure there'll be some Gundam somewhere.
Oh, but jeez, please. You're going to trip over this stuff. I mean, you're going to go up to it. There's going to be like Gundam Pepsi up there. It's like, oh, hey. So, yeah, I finally got
there is that new Gundam statue somewhere.
Yeah, that is true. And yeah, it looks like farewell to the RX-78F00. Yokohama's is moving to close in 70 days. It looks like the last days after March 31st, 2024. It's no longer going to stand around to astound visitors, making the end of a phase in Japanese pop culture and techonomic exposition. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, I've seen the pictures and the video of it. So it was designed to commemorate... What's that?
Interesting date they chose to close it because a lot of Japanese corporate years run from April to March.
Yeah, that is true. Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta get it off the books, man. Because yeah, there's some accounting tricks there. For all the great things that come out of Japan, they are known for their cool corporate accounting tricks that can help a CEO sometimes take their life when found out. So, they kind of have that tendency there. But yeah, it was originally designed to commemorate the 40th anniversary of Gundam franchise at the end of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Holy crap! Oh my God, it's been a long time. It made its official premiere on December 19th, 2020. I'm surprised they just didn't do that, but it's got to be for the books. But I mean, I'm surprised they just didn't do it on the day that it, give it a full actual 4-year run.
Nazi says in the chat that I can go see the life-size scope dog, which admittedly would be cool, but like, isn't that freaking thing in Okawa's hometown, wherever that is?
Yeah,
it's not Tokyo.
It's definitely not Tokyo. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm probably not on the itinerary, sadly.
Damn.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh man.
There you go. Man. MCT Dread comes back with another one. I'm sure both of you guys are excited about this. Tron 3 is now in production.
Oh boy!
And there's been a photo from the set shared, so I'm sure it's just a person in like a green suit with like balls on him, like. Let's see what we got here. The long-awaited Tron 3. Is it really long-awaited? I mean, who's really? I mean, seriously, are we?
Not really.
I mean, is this? Go ahead,
Jared.
Chris.
Like, why Jared Leto? Why?
I don't even know.
Why does Jared Leto keep getting jobs? He fucking sucks. He's just a fucking weirdo. Not a good actor. He's a fucking creep. Like, just stop giving this guy fucking parts. Like, we do not need this guy in anything. Like, it's not Morbin time. It's not Conan time. It's no Jared Leto time.
No Jared Leto time.
Yeah, it's true. You're right on that. Like, he's just not that great. Like, yeah.
I mean, the rest of the cast.
The worst
is
thing
pretty
to
cool,
happen
but...
was him winning an Oscar.
Yeah, that is true.
Because he sees it as validation for all his weird, like,
method acting bullshit.
Actor, not his fucking method acting of like, I'm gonna pretend to be disabled so that I have to be hauled to the bathroom between takes on Morbius. That's literally the thing he did. Like, taking an hour to use the bathroom because he wanted to get in the mindset of being disabled and not being able to walk. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it is wild.
Actually, and I haven't seen it.
Absolute moron.
As a man,
from what I've heard about Morbius, like, he actually probably should have had his SAG card revoked on that. Like, I mean,
shit!
That I heard it's just terrible.
It's awful.
I mean, like. It's not bad where like there's some parts you can be like, oh, okay, I might redeem this, or it's even one of those ones where you're like, oh, after enough watchings it'll probably become like a cult classic. It's just a real giant piece of shit from what I understand.
If you ever want your brain to explode, do yourself a favor, go to YouTube and look up the end credit scene of Morbius. You'll hate me for life.
Because I'm sure
it's the worst that's ever been done. Oh.
I'm sure there's multiple shots of him doing that thing where he stands up really straight and he does that weird thing where he bugs out his eyes and he's just like so really intense, and you're like, okay, why are you doing this? Like, what are you supposed to be good? This is I mean, Tron, the first movie was. It was good. It was good for what it was, an 80s, sci-fi film. The second movie was a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they serve their purpose, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, come on, Disney. Come on, Bob Iger. You got to do better, man. Come on, Bob. I mean, am I going to have to get there? I mean, come on.
This was probably started under the other Bob.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. Probably.
It's probably... Yeah, and it's probably one of those ones where they can't. It's too far along. Yeah. It's like, wait, okay, what's the numbers here? Like, okay, we complete this thing. It costs $200 million. We shelve this shit. It still costs $200 million. All right, let's just put it out. Maybe we can get something out of it. So.
I am curious as to who they'll get to do the OST on this one, because it definitely won't be
Daft Punk.
No, they broke up. So maybe one of them. I don't know if they're doing music separately.
It'll be Dave Guetta.
I mean,
one of them is doing like classical music now and like other shit. But you know who could do it?
Public domain.
Is public. Not AI, but there's this guy Joseph Trapanese. He's a composer.
Oh, I've heard of him.
Yeah, well, the reason you've heard of him is because he reorchestrated some of their stuff and did new stuff for the Tron Uprising TV show.
Oh, shit. There's nobody more fitting then.
He's worked on a lot of movie soundtracks, and his work is great. He also worked on, with Mike Shinoda, the American soundtrack for Raid Redemption.
Oh, yeah,
which is a great soundtrack. Yeah, he's got a very good track record. So, like, if that guy did the soundtrack for Tron 3, I'd be all about it.
Yeah, I have to pick that up.
We'll have another good soundtrack. Okay, cool. Because that's really all we need to get from this. It's either good movie or good soundtrack. We'll take one. I mean, we're not really wanting both. That would be cool. That would be the perfect thing. But, yeah. So, All right. Man. MCT Dread comes back with this.
Oh, shit.
Gundam Seed Freedom anime film owns 770 million yen in just the first 2 days.
Oh, shit. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there are
There you go,
multiple follow-up
Chris.
stories. It's made way more since then.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to make bank.
There you go, Chris. You were wrong.
I definitely was wrong.
You were wrong. You said it would never be made.
Oh, man,
You said it would never be good. You said it would never make money. You said it would never be contention for next year's Oscars. You just don't. You're just a hater, dude. So
Is that what it is?
Well, you know what you can hate on is you can go over to MAHQ.net and view all of the mecha designs, and you can hate on all of the lazy recycling.
Oh, yes.
I can hate refresh.
I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah. So it looks like it sold 500,000 tickets and earned 770 million yen, about 5.2 million in US dollars in the first 2 days, and it was in 56 countries and territories. And then, compared to Mobile Suit Gundam Hathaway film, which only sold 259,000 tickets and only had 523,000 yen. So there you go, Seed Universe.
Holy shit, this looks like Shovel Knight.
Oh, Cosmic Era, greater than UC, Chris. Eat it.
Also,
Eat it.
Hathaway did come out when there was still Rona problems, and it was in
No, that's just because that would have made people go and see it, man.
That could be it.
Fake news.
Hey, Silver, you want to tell me what the difference is between Impulse Spec 2 and OG?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You're being a hater, man. You just can't accept it that you're wrong.
It
Cosmic
changed.
Era greater than UC. We know this. We all know this. Come on.
Yes.
I mean,
They changed the colors on the shoulder and the skirt, which is
I know.
no.
I've
You've been waiting 20 years for that design change to happen.
Big 2 decades.
All those years for just the change the colors. Yeah.
I honestly had no idea that there was this much pent up demand for Seed, but I guess if you think about it, like there's a lot of kids who grew up on Seed as their first exposure to Gundam over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like in their 30s now.
It's the Gundam wing of the generation, basically.
Yeah.
It was meant to be an introductory series to Gundam, and it definitely did its job because I remember how popular it was when it was on.
Oh, and, this article from Anime News Network, though, it throws cold water on my Cosmic Era is greater than UC, because actually the OG Mobile Suit Gundam 3 Encounters in Space holds the record for the highest Japanese box open revenue in the Gundam franchise with a total of 2.3 billion yen. So, which is 15.5 million. What's that?
So by next year, the original Gundam Seed will be as old as MSG was when Seed came out.
That's freaking wild. I'm already bugging that Ghostbusters and Transformers is 40 years old, but this is wow. This is crazy, man. Time is elusive. It really is.
So the strike is for many people. The strike itself is now a Grandpa Gundam.
Damn.
Yeah, it's true.
Think about that.
Who would have knew?
That's true.
Oh, that is a rough reality to live in.
Fred in the chats, all the Seed fans have been edging for years. I mean, I guess yes. That is one way of looking at it.
Yo, edgy.
All right.
That is one way you could look at that situation. Yes.
What a way to phrase it.
Hey, all I gotta say: Seed Freedom, Gundam Seed Freedom, success. Chris Guanche, not success. So there you go. They were right.
I'm definitely not a success.
No, you've always said this would never work. You always said this would never work. It would never happen, and it did. And now you have to live in a world that it's happened.
In a world where a movie gets made.
that
Many
you really,
years after they said.
Yes, it really doesn't need to really be done, and a lot of people just forgot about it. But we're just gonna, I guess Japan is figuring out the American formula. Just go back to nostalgia.
Those glasses.
Exactly. I guess the executives I have been introduced to the nostalgia glass. So, bro, did you do a presentation to them over the holiday?
I shipped it over to them.
Let me tell you, a way to get good money.
I didn't know it would lead to this.
All you got to do is just change a few colors on the old Gundam, and no big deal. And everybody think it's brand new.
There you go.
Scale it to 4K. So,
Mecha-san says in the chat, what else will I be wrong about in the future? Well, if I'm trying to manifest things to not happen, then let me say I absolutely want a Crossbone anime.
Oh, yes.
I would love nothing more than for there to be a Crossbone anime. It would bring me so much joy. I would die of happiness. I would be over the moon. Give me all of the hideously ugly mecha. The uglier, the better. Give me all that Crossbone. Give it to me. I need it.
Exactly.
I need to have it.
Speak that into the ether.
That's what I'm doing.
There you go.
I love it. I love Crossbone so much.
Darn it, Chris! It'll never happen now.
Hey, and speaking of other things, maybe that I don't know if you want, or maybe it sounded like a good idea time, and it looks like they're going forward with it, is MC Direct comes back. It looks like from Variety.com, they're saying that Paramount Plus starts production on Star Trek Section 31.
Oh, yes.
Wow. You guys ready for that? I mean,
I'm excited.
I'm surprised that lady still wants to do it after winning.
You want to know why? It's like, Discovery and her prominent role in that was like really like a Kickstarter for getting her these bigger roles.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
it put her name back in people's
everything
mouth.
everywhere all at once.
Yep, it led to that inevitably, man. She's voicing characters on all sorts of animations, animated movies. She was in Shang-Chi. She was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and then of course she was in Discovery for all these years, and now she's doing this, and I'm sure she's gonna get more work. But I'm just glad. I've loved Michelle Yeoh since I saw her in old Hong Kong action films from back in the day, and there was a time where I didn't see her in anything, and then now she's back with a vengeance, and I couldn't be happier. I think she's a fantastic actress, and not only physical, but also just in the conventional sense. And the fact that she's getting this, I don't know if it's going to be a one-shot or if this might be the start of something big, but we'll see. I'm excited for the project.
It's a one-shot.
It's a one-shot.
Because I think after this, she's not going to be as available.
Yeah, true. I know there's the actor I like. I think his name's Sam Richardson. Who's announced for the cast as well, and some other people that I've seen in other things. This article doesn't seem to have the expanded cast list that they announced, but at least I don't think so. Let me see here. But yeah, I'm intrigued, and I can't wait for it to finally be available on Paramount Plus or whatever version of the streaming service that it'll be by the time this movie comes out.
Well, whatever it is at that point. Right?
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. In this landscape, the streaming landscape that's forever changing.
Yeah. Now it's Paramount Plus on Showtime. That's one of my Showtime channels became that now.
Yeah, true. So, okay, there's a cast list right here: Sam Richardson, Omari Hardwick, Robert Kaczynski, Humberly Gonzalez, James Hiroyuki Lau, and Casey Roll looks like are also going to be in the movie. So a young cast primarily, and it just makes me wonder what the premise will be overall. But back to you. Uh-oh. Neil?
Or not.
Oh, shit. I think we lost you. Uh-oh. It's Mike.
No,
oh, there we go. All right.
I have to switch over real quick. I got to go do something.
Oh,
so I'm going to be doing news remotely, but this will be as I have to go move my car.
Oh, damn.
So I gotta go move the BMW. So the next one here is, oh man, this is sad news for me,
It's
CT
some
Dread. I know
tough
this
news.
all hit us hard
Boy.
because you never really knew that this was gonna happen because you didn't hear like the person was sick or anything. But
Yeah.
and Apollo Creed himself passed away last week at age 77. Carl Weathers, man. I mean, that was some tough news. It was sudden too.
Yeah, man. Just
So-
out of the blue. Friday is when we found out, and
Yeah.
I had no idea he was a Raider. I didn't know he played football
Oh, yeah.
or anything like that
Yeah.
until this news hit. But yeah, man, he's definitely an actor I always look forward to seeing in anything that he's in. Some of his roles that I'll highlight is Arrested Development, where he played a fictional version of himself. Freaking hilarious. If you could look up the scenes on YouTube, just the scene stealing moments he had on that show. And then, of course, people love him in Happy Gilmore, playing Chubbs, I believe was his character's name. And he was a mentor to Happy Gilmore in that movie. He really could do comedy well. And I don't think people knew that until after he did Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. He also reprised the character in another one of his movies. I can't remember which, though. But then, of course, you have him. His iconic role as Apollo Creed in Rocky, which made him a household name practically, and he played that character for 4 movies. I still think it was a mistake to kill him off. They could have had what's his name, just hurt him in a way that he couldn't box anymore. But
Look, all of Rocky 4 was a mistake. that whole movie was a mistake. A jingoistic mistake.
A jingoistic mistake.
I saw this video of Sylvester Stallone like doing a tribute.
Yeah.
And he was choking up, and he said like, I wouldn't have been able to accomplish anything of what we did with Rocky without him. And it's like, man, that's sad.
It's tough. It was on the because I see that movie as a two-hander between the two of them, because it's not as balanced between the two of them. It's more so a focus on Rocky, the first one, but the part 2 is definitely a two-hander, and then part 3 when they both have to work together. It's a nice build-up and culmination of those two characters' relationship. And then watching the Creed movies, he feels missed in those, just overall, I was glad to see a resurgence to his career so late in it, especially the fact that he got to direct episodes of The Mandalorian, because a lot of people are introduced to him as Grief Karga in The Mandalorian and may have not seen anything else that he's done. But he got to direct a couple episodes of that show, and they were pretty solid episodes. And he's been directing, like, long before that, short films and episodes of TV. So to have a shot at directing Star Wars related content was a big deal, especially for someone of color. And to see that Carl got to do that and be a part of that world, and a beloved part of that world, means he's going to be remembered by a whole lot more people, not only for Rocky, but also for his time in Star Wars. It's a shame because that Mandalorian movie is moving towards being a reality now, and I was looking forward to seeing him in it. And now I don't know what they're going to do with the character, if they're going to also say that the character died, or they're just going to kind of leave him out the movie but say he's still around.
Retired to some quiet planet somewhere.
Well, there's 3 options. They'll do either one of those 2, or you put him limited in the film, and you put him on like Michael B. Jordan's face or something like that. It's like you put him. That's probably. I mean, they've already done it with 2 or 3 different things in Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that might be the way that they do it, is just do like a very limited thing with them. I don't know. But yeah, it was sad. It was definitely sad to see that, because I remember from Predator too.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
That was one of those other. And is he the he's the arm on one of that meme with the 2 arms, right?
He's the black arm.
That's Dylan
on the arm clasping meme.
Dylan.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Immortalized. Yes.
Yep. So he will be always immortalized that way. So yeah. But
and don't forget about Action Jackson, one of the worst best movies you'll ever watch, with Craig T. Nelson as the villain, rightfully casted.
So dumb.
It is the worst, but this great scenes that get taken out of context in that movie, and you can find like the best scenes of it on YouTube. Man, it's so good. It's so good. It's so bad. And if you haven't seen it before, it's a sight to behold. Just don't say I didn't warn you. It's not a good movie, but it's got charm at least. And,
No,
and a lot of dumb one-liners.
It's good. It's a bad movie that's good. Like it's like it's a cheesy bad movie that's good.
Just remember this line. How do you like your ribs?
There you go.
Look, if you're gonna watch a bad '80s cop movie, like better to watch Action Jackson than anything with Steven Seagal in it.
Yes,
So.
amen to that. But yeah, man. Rest in peace. Rest in power. And Carl Weathers, you were a real one, and you will be missed.
So the next one here comes from Rodimus76, and it looks like the cast of TNG Star Trek Next Generation. They're going to receive a Lifetime Achievement Saturn Award, which the Saturn Awards are basically like the Oscars for sci-fi, right? I mean, that's basically what they are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that the Hugos, I think.
That or the Hugos or the Nebulas.
Yeah. Okay.
But they're all up there.
There you go. So. Yeah, it looks like they're going to get it at the 51st Annual Saturn Awards being held at I guess it was held not too long ago. So, yeah, I guess the entire cast got it. So,
yeah, nobody submitted this, but the Saturn Awards went down in full, and there is a awards list. I just put the link in the chat of the Saturn Awards. Star Trek won pretty big during the Saturn Awards. Someone, I forget who joked about it, but someone called it the Star Trek Awards. Let's see here.
What is it mostly? Is it mostly Strange New Worlds?
Yeah, well, Star Trek Picard won Best Science Fiction Television Series.
Really?
And then Patrick Stewart won for Best Actor in a Television Series. Jonathan Frakes won Best Supporting Actor. Jerry Ryan won for Best Supporting Actress. Paul Wesley won for Star Trek Strange New Worlds playing Kirk. And all the other actors, all the other awards are listed here as well. Best, Best science fiction film was Avatar Way of Water. And Best Fantasy Film is Indiana Jones Dial of Destiny. Man, talk to me. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's pretty good. And that's Best Horror Film. And then Best Superhero Film is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And the list goes on. Oppenheimer won Best Thriller. Best Animated Film, and I concur with this, is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which I just saw a week and a half ago for the first time. Fucking phenomenal. I know we should talk about that.
You in?
I know, right? Circumstances didn't allow me to see it in the theater at the time, but my wife and I finally sat down and watched it, and man, it is beautiful. And I know we reviewed the first one here on the show. I'm sure we'll talk about this one sometime down the road. But
well, I'll tell you this, for the Lord King Awards, I will say the most overrated movie of 2023 was Oppenheimer.
Ooh.
Snooze fest. Snooze fest. I mean, I've pretty much seen a lot of the other ones that were nominated for like the big pictures, and I'm like, I was like, ooh, Oppenheimer's on this? It's like, really?
Andor won Best New Genre Television Series, so that's awesome. And Best Horror Television Series was The Last of Us.
What about Best Costume? The Return of the Monster Maroons and Strange New Worlds? Did that get nominated?
Shit.
It should have won.
The Monster
Maroons should have won, even though I wasn't too keen on those because I don't like the Lululemon-fied version of the Monster Maroons. I don't want them. I don't want them with the athletic.
That wouldn't count because that was back from season 1. So that's already...
that's true.
Yeah. Oh, that's crap.
Sorry,
I forgot. Damn you and
lost
your damn
his chance.
timelines. So I moved it.
Man, Nicolas Cage won Best Supporting Actor in the film for Renfield. Yo, Nick, let's go.
I haven't seen that.
The legend, Nick Cage. All right, good shit. But
this is a funny one.
Go for it.
You're still going?
No, I'm good. I'm good to go.
and
we have an actual show to do here.
True.
Yeah. This is a fun one. I can't wait. Okay. From Rodimus 76, the 8 biggest Transformer plot holes in Michael Bay's 5 movies.
Oh, no.
So how can you have 8 plot holes in 5 movies? That's an interesting one. I'll just go through this very quickly because
each movie itself is a plot hole, so there's only 5 plot holes.
You bet.
Right, that's the way I was thinking about it. Like, is it the culmination? Oh boy.
Sir,
Frenzy stuck onto Air Force One as a boombox. Okay, that's number 7. Coming in at number 6, the existence of the Transformers somehow manages to be kept secret. Okay. These are pretty dumb. This is a bad article. Sam Witwicky isn't able to get a job after publicly saving the world. Okay. Isn't that the whole thing with like Peter Parker and everything else where you do something good that you always get screwed? Number 4, the Form Primes don't warn Sam about Sentinel. Okay. Number 3, the creators plan to terraform Earth makes 0 sense.
Oh.
Okay. And then number 2, lockdown and Attinger working together despite hating each other. Well, you can always have, keep your enemies closer. And number 1, what do you guys think the number 1 thing is?
Oh, I already got it on the screen. So
Optimus can suddenly fly.
Ooh, no.
Wow, so
what a shock.
It's yeah. I mean, okay.
I'm shocked that someone took the time to analyze this to this degree, because these movies, they're just, I don't think they've really worked all the studying that.
Just get over it.
Required.
Yeah, just get over it.
Terrible.
They've been done. It's been a couple
I got
of
two
years.
things that need to be explained.
Oh, go for it.
Two things. Only two things. Only two things.
Okay.
One, how did we get at desert in Washington D.C. behind the Smithsonian? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good point.
Okay.
Where did that desert come from in D.C.?
Okay. I don't know.
And number 2, why did we need to have so much focus on the Romeo and Juliet card?
Yes, that shit in movie 4. In movie 4.
Oh yeah.
With what's his name? Marky Mark's daughter and her race car driving boyfriend. They could not take enough time to explain that shit. It's fucking ridiculous. Why do skids and Mudflap exist? Yazi writes. Yazi, I'm still wondering that to this day. I'm still scarred by that shit.
or why didn't Michaela just run away as quickly as she could?
Exactly.
Well, here's another one. Which one's actually Devastator?
The world may never know.
Or how could I forget what the helicopter's name was in the first Transformers, but how could Peter Cullen pilot the helicopter and still voice Optimus Prime at the same time? Like, how could that happen?
Very carefully.
You'll never know.
You'll never know. Okay. And then there's an update, Rodimus 76. I won't go into it. Yeah, so Chris, you got it. Yeah. Gundam Seed fan Freedom tops 1.9 billion in 10 days. Ooh, man. Ooh. And the last one here of the night, I think this is an interesting one. The Funimation app. Do you get any of you guys have it? I don't have it, but I'm sure Chris, Soul Bro, you probably have the Funimation app. Or
I got it on my TV, yeah. I got it on my TV, yeah.
General Hate used to have Funimation app.
Mm-hmm. Guess what? April 2nd, it goes away.
Yeah.
So,
I've been seeing some of the goodbyes from the staff of Funimation on X and social media, talking about things closing down and all that stuff. So, props to them, man. They were around a lot longer than I thought they would be, and off the back of Dragon Ball and some other popular series.
Props to them for being bought out and then just being shut down unceremoniously.
Redundancies. Who knew?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but
something that needs to be mentioned, because this is some bullshit. All of those Funimation digital copies that you redeemed when you bought a physical set, none of that stuff is being carried over, so you're shit out of luck.
I thought I had a feeling that was going to happen. That's fucking whack, because that means.
And reading this article here, it looks like if you want your watch history and your queue automatically included in the Crunchyroll, you got to go through like this whole big thing. Like you got to combine the Funimation Crunchyroll data, replace Crunchyroll data with Funimation data, save Crunchyroll data only. I mean, it's like, what the hell? And guess what? If you don't cancel your Funimation subscription, you'll end up having with a Crunchyroll account under the same email address. So there you go. So yeah, cool. Corporate takeovers. Yay.
Oh boy, it's a sad end that we see far too often. But
Oh
no,
man.
as Fred in the chat says, "Fuck Funimation." Or Funimation, as it's properly
Yeah,
announced.
and this article confirms what Chris said. Unfortunately, Funimation users who purchase digital copies of anime shows and movies on the platform won't be able to access them on Crunchyroll. So, you probably would have been better just to set that money on fire instead of buying those digital copies.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the new
We're
world.
just
Yeah, that
hoist the sails.
Hoist them.
I hear the pirate drums getting louder.
Want people to not pirate stuff, make a better product.
What was
Exactly.
that? Still, bro, remember that thing I texted you about that somebody had said, like, I saw this thing on the internet where somebody said, well, if owning a digital copy, if it's not ownership having a digital copy, then
Not
taking
piracy
something,
to steal it.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's not the piracy to steal it.
Yeah, my man Louis Rossman on YouTube preaches that all the time,
Yeah.
man. That's the guy right there. He's been talking that for years. It's like they no one wants you to own shit, so you're left with no other option but to get it your own way. And by far, you probably will get it in a format that'll be much better than what they're providing you on streaming. So all I know is it is what it is.
There you go. So that's the news. And if you
I'm
ever
not
have
gonna
news-
cry any fucking tears for Sony.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
not. I won't be doing that. So they created
Let's not
this
forget
environment.
that's the big daddy at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah. Yep. So thank you everybody for submitting your news articles. And if you ever have news articles, you can always submit them to the Neo's listener submitted news articles thread in the Gundam section of the Mecha Talk forum. And yeah, our only topic of the night, we're going to be talking about the 8-episode anime series that showed up on Netflix. Yeah, this is entering things with the tomes, so I'm sure there'll be talk about that. Some
Oh,
of the
yes.
things there, but yeah, it's very tomes ready. But Chris, you want to give us a quick little synopsis here of Pluto?
I think that should fall to Solbro since he's the one who
advised
this
it.
topic.
That is true. This was Solbro's call. Yeah, sorry about that, Chris.
Well, all right. God damn it. I should have wrote something up.
You should have expected this.
I know I did actually. Set in
You don't
the
have your crib notes?
set in the near but not so near future. The story takes place. For those who don't know, this is actually an adaptation of an arc from Astro Boy, called "The World's Greatest Robot," and it basically is the takedown of the 7 strongest robots around the world by a mysterious robot that shows up by the name of Pluto. It's a lot more streamlined in the original story, but in this, it's reimagined by Naoki Urasawa, who a lot of you guys might know from his work on Monster, 20th Century Boys, Happy, Yawara. He has a whole history of manga. Billy Bat, for those who are reading his current work. And in the early 2000s, in order to celebrate Astro Boy's anniversary of his birth, which was, I believe, April 2003, there were several projects that were launched to do so. And one of them was this, Pluto, the adaptation of that story, that arc from Astro Boy, basically, turning it into a cyberpunk-inspired detective story. Instead of putting the focus on Astro Boy, they put the focus on one of the other robots. His name is Geshecht. It's I used to call him Geshecht. It's difficult for me to say. I used to call him Geist when I was reading the manga, so because I didn't know how his name was said. So that's still stuck in my brain. But he is the central character for most of the story. He's investigating a string of murders of robots and humans related to cybernetics and robotics. And he's slowly putting together the pieces of the robot that's causing the killing of these people, a powerful robot by the name of Pluto. This all ties into a conflict that happened years beforehand, which is very reminiscent and pulled from the headlines of our invasion of Iraq, because of the assumption of weapons of mass destruction. Well, the leader of a country called Persia is suspected of the same thing, and so they send robots in to take down the maniac leader that's there. And it's a robot and robot battle between two different forces, led by a country called the United States of Thracia, which is not quite the United States, but might as well be. A scientific team goes in after the war is completed to see if they can find the weapon of mass destruction that they were working on, and doesn't really find it, but they do find traces of it. And those people were somewhat responsible for the conflicts that happened there, and the conflicts that helped to decimate the populace that lived in the country. So there's a lot of angry people over this conflict that took place, and a lot of suspects because of it. The prime suspect is a man related to the government who was responsible for developing robots, and I believe his name was God, it was on the tip of my tongue, but Professor Abula, who is every time he's observed, people think he's a robot, but he's supposedly a human. And Geschicht is Gescht. God damn, I can't say it. Gesicht. God, there we go. He puts him in his list of suspects. But early in the series, Gesicht, he goes to Japan and meets up with Astro Boy, who was one of the 7 robots to visit that country, and one of the 7 strongest robots in the world. Of course, his name is Tobio, and he strikes a rapport with him and gives him his shares his memories with him. And Tobio quickly finds out that there's a memory that was erased from his database, where he performed an unforgivable act, basically. The detective did, and it brings Astro Boy to tears. To make a long story short, the investigation ramps up. There's more murders. There is a racist group that's racist against robots that is at the core of some of this as well, with a man named I guess aptly named Adolf, who ends up having to work begrudgingly with the detective during this, although the detective actually did something unthinkable to his family. And basically comes down to all the robots slowly being killed off one by Pluto, until we get to the very end, where something very surprising happens to the main character, and something very expected happens to Astro Boy as well, for a final showdown against Pluto, to wrap this all up.
What happened?
Well, there is once Geschicht, he is on pretty much the trail of finding out who Pluto is and uncovering the mystery. He's killed by a robot that was sent to murder him, that was initially a friendly, and it's such a tear-jerking scene, but it was a brave move, I think, to kill off the main character like almost all the way through. Astro Boy is revived, and when he's revived through an unconventional. Hello?
Adam.
Oh, Adam. Yeah, sorry. Adam. Adam. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
he's not Astro Boy.
He's not Astro Boy, but I'm sorry. But yes, Tobio is revived through a very, let's say, traumatic method of forcing him to awaken due to trauma and whatnot. And when he is, he ends up figuring things out, and then going to face off with Pluto at it's not Yellowstone Park, but it might as well be Yellowstone Park, where the mega volcano is, because the ultimate plan for revenge from the nation of Persia is to send one of their powerful robots there to explode the volcano and cause a nuclear winter and another ice age. So there's a pretty cool battle that happens between Pluto and Tobio towards the end of the OVA series, and things get resolved after they come to talk about how futile this is, and Tobio reaches to Pluto, and it is a humanity inside, and then they both work together to stop Bora, the apocalyptic robot that's going to try to explode the volcano. And then it comes to an end. So I'm sorry I did a bad job with reading that, but it's a fantastic story, and it's all on Netflix, 8 episodes, and we're going to talk about it. And what I'll do is I'll toss it over to Chris to give his thoughts on Pluto. Go give it have at it.
I'll lead off with we had a question in the chat from Jiko Riju, who says, "Have you guys read the original story, World's Strongest Robot, any work by Tezuka, or read/watched Astro Boy?" And the answer to me for all of those is no.
I have. I actually own Astro Boy 1980 on DVD, and I've never seen the original 1960s except for like clips. But the 1980s version has been regarded as the best version. My wife bought it for me for Christmas about 15 years ago, and I cruised through it. I couldn't stop watching, and it's a very emotional arc. But yeah, I really enjoy that arc in there, and I think that Urasawa did a fantastic job of re-envisioning it for this.
So I will say, I am familiar with Urasawa, huge fan of Monster. So, you can see that same kind of like layered storytelling where there's a mystery that slowly starts to be revealed over time. And, similarly, I don't know if you all thought this, if you've seen Monster, that the robot body that Pluto inhabited when he met Uran looks very much like the Dr. Tenma of Monster.
Yeah, it's kind of a blend between Dr. Tenma from Monster and the main character of 20th Century Boys. It's almost like a fusion between the two of those guys, just off of the way he looks. But yeah, I was reminded of him as well.
One thing that really strikes me about this series, also, the fact that it's 8-hour-long episodes, which is very atypical for anime.
It sure is. Although it makes sense because there's 8 volumes of the manga, so and they begin and end in the same place.
So, one thing that really strikes me throughout this entire series is that it has a very utopian aesthetic, but because it's cyberpunk, but also sort of a way not, because it doesn't have like that gritty future Blade Runner look that you associate with cyberpunk so much. It's a very clean, nice utopian aesthetic. But you only have to go underneath the surface just a little tiny bit before you find all the grime.
Exactly.
Boy, is it grimy.
Boy, always.
Yeah, it's very grimy.
There is a very grimy underbelly to this world and all this stuff about robot rights and discrimination against robots and robots, people who are serial killers of robots, and this war in the Middle East where all these robots were made to kill each other, and it's obviously an exploration of things from the time when the manga was made, and I think it's a very interesting story of just showing the futility of war and what does it mean to fight? What does it mean to make a choice not to fight, as was the case with that one robot, Epsilon.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be a person? What is the dividing line between a person and a robot, which is something that comes up a lot with Professor Abula, especially when the truth about what he is revealed at the end. I'd say it's brilliantly animated. Very high, like this in a past era before streaming, this would have been like a high profile, big budget OVA with an episode coming out like once every few months.
Right?
Yeah.
Giant Robo or something.
Exactly.
But this is streaming era now. And I will say also, I rarely watch dubs these days for new anime. I decided to watch Pluto dubbed.
Same.
At least in part because Keith David is in the dub as Dr. Tenma.
Hell yeah.
And of course he's brilliant as always. But it's a really, really good dub overall, especially Gesicht. It's very well voice directed. I found it hilarious. Richard Epcar playing Hercules, who is basically this Bato-looking motherfucker.
Yes!
And it's like, oh, we have this Bato-looking guy. Who do we want to play him? Let's get Richard Epcar, because
reasons.
Of course.
Exactly.
You talk about Gesicht's death, and I understand that it's supposed to be this like shocking and sad and tearful moment, but what I could not get over was the fact that his little robot assassin Ali It's literally just freaking Tinny Tim from Futurama.
Yeah.
Like, I just looked at this little robot, and I just kept thinking of Tinny Tim.
No.
Even to the end, in this very dramatic moment, when he just blasts a hole through Gazik. I'm just thinking of Tinny Tim. That just made me ruin it for myself.
I
So,
can't see that
you know,
now. I'm so mad.
that was my experience. I mean, he's a busted up little robot who has a credit card reader taped to his busted arm.
Yes.
Like how is he not Tinny Tim?
He's the embodiment of that character.
Yes.
Oh no! Wow, that's
Yeah.
What great observation.
Yeah. I like Gazik as a character, as he's this no nonsense detective, but he's obviously haunted by these nightmares that we of course learn later on are actually deleted memories, and boy are they some bad memories.
Boy, oh man.
And I like this concept of exploring things about robot rights and robots being couples, and the human looking ones going through all these to such pains to mimic human behavior in the hopes that someday it'll become like real behavior, like drinking tea or coffee or doing stuff that they don't need to do, and waiting to adopt robot children. And I think it was just an interesting concept that you don't usually see in these stories with like robots and androids and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very pro robo view of AI and robots in general, which I know Neo had a problem
we know
with
how
on the
Neo
show.
feels about that.
Can't wait.
He don't like no pro robo.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead, Chris.
That's my comments for now. Just general observations. I'm sure I'll have more to throw in as we keep discussing.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Neo. What are your thoughts? What's your take?
No, I think it's as a whole, it's an entertaining story. It's a good story. I think, in a lot of ways, the whole thing with the using the robots and the questions of like doing things, it's a way of actually questioning a person and seeing it. Are we what we think we are? In terms of what happens to Gasek. Instead of doing something like a human who would have something, they would do something bad and they would try to block it out, and sometimes they can block it out.
Yeah.
He has it deleted, and it's how do you come to terms with doing horrible things, and it's definitely an allegory of using AI and autonomous weapons in war. I mean, you can definitely see that. And the fact that the interesting thing about it is you really don't see that many humans, and everything's more of the robot perspective. So and that's where I kind of feel it's more of like it's a way of kind of discussing about things in society instead of in using robots instead of people. Because in the end, it's just really just a murder mystery.
Yeah.
It's trying to figure out who's doing these horrible things to these great people, or in this instance, the 7 greatest robots. And then seeing how they interact. Going to war based on a lie, and them actually question himself. And it is interesting, is AI, can we get it to that point where it can do that instead of the way it is now, where it just ends up getting everything from the internet and just turns into your racist grandpa. So it's it's very pro robo. Once again, I will always take my thing, like the great Bill Adama said. I'm not against computers. Just against networking them, and so I know these guys weren't networked, so I think that's why they lasted as long as they did. I think in the end it was just a way of using robots in a way of like of asking the eternal question that even humans have is why do I exist? Why do I do this? Why, if I've been through these horrible things, why do I do what I'm doing? What defines me? So yeah, and it was pretty funny. You're like, really, that poor low rent robot got him. It's like, oh man. But I guess as advanced as you are, you fall for the same trap that everybody else does. You fall for the sucker, like, disabled kid, and that's basically what he did.
And the fact that it reminded them of the kid that they adopted was like the easiest way to get to have him drop his defenses. And man, it was that.
And he was he was trying to sell you flowers, right?
Yeah,
so that gives you added thing if you just always stay away from the person always trying to peddle you flowers on the street. It's never going to end up well.
No.
And then of course, and those anti-robo guys, I'm not going to be those guys. I mean, I understand it, but yeah, those guys were with Adolf. it's a lot of imagery on like just, you know, human life, and I think that's in human society, so it's definitely what you see there. So but Soul Bro, back to you.
I've been waiting a long time to see this. They announced this project in the early 2010s. And, you know, there were a lot of announcements for this, like a live action movie. I know Guillermo del Toro wanted to do a live action adaptation of this at one time. And then eventually M2 did announce the animated version, and it took 6 years for them to put out. I've been introduced to this since the manga came out. First, the unofficial kind of fan translation, and then when Viz started putting it out in the late, I believe in 2009, when the manga series ended in Japan. I collected each volume. I have them on my shelf right over here. It's one of my favorite stories told by Urasawa, and it's a great tribute to Tezuka in general. In the original version, the robots all get taken out one by one too. So it was one of those aspects that I knew going in, but it doesn't make it any less heart-wrenching. North Number 2 is one of my favorite stories, straight up. And for those who are eagle-eyed viewers, the musician, the composer that's in that arc, his when he was a child, he was operated on by a doctor. Do you fellas know who that doctor was?
It was obviously Blackjack.
Dr. Blackjack,
like,
yeah.
But you know, not.
Yeah, but it's alluded that it's Blackjack. If you should judge by his shoes, it's definitely Blackjack. But Dr. Blackjack was the one who was able to cure his fatal disease, but he lost his sight because of it. But just that, to see that story unfold and to see how those two connect, only to have their relationship just torn asunder when Pluto shows up to kill North Number 2. It's so heartbreaking. And then of course you get the stories of Brando and then of course Hercules and Epsilon.
Mont Blanc is the funniest.
Oh yeah.
That's the funniest, because it's just every time I saw him, he just makes me laugh. It's like the fact that they show the pictures of him, and he's just like this big, like, round robot, and then it's like he's walking around with overalls, and he like goes completely granola after fighting in the war. I'm just like, oh my god, this is just he was the funniest to me, because I'm just like, oh my god, this is just so ridiculous.
Out of all the character designs, his is probably the closest to his original design in the original manga. Although Brando and Hercules and their actual robots and their exo bodies are pretty similar as well. But just to
say with North Number 2, I thought North Number 2 it's a very interesting story. Like you could cut out that story of North Number 2 and the composer and just like the sad end of it, and then you could have like shoved it into something like Robot Carnival or Memories as like a vignette.
Yeah,
and it would have worked fine in either of those movies.
And that's the feeling of Urasawa's work. It's a continuing story, but sometimes it can feel like an anthology too, because he likes to put a lot of human interest stories into his overarching narrative. And this is no different. If you watch Monster, if you read 20th Century Boys, it is the same damn thing, and I love him for it. He's one of my favorite mangaka. Might be my second favorite of all time, just because of the pure joy I've had from reading his work. But yeah, here, this is definitely a showcase for the type of writing that he does in general. And if you guys ever want to get to know the man, he has a YouTube channel called Urasawa Channel. I didn't know this until just a couple days ago. But now I've been watching it nonstop, just seeing how he draws the characters, the interviews that he does, and just the thoughts that he has, and it's pretty cool for someone that I've been reading for over 20 years. It's fantastic to know that he has a YouTube channel that everybody can check out. So if you enjoy this man, please check that channel out. And if you've never seen anything besides Pluto, and I would direct you straight to Monster, which I believe is on Netflix right now. So if you've never seen Monster, you can go over there and check that out too. That is also his. But getting back to Pluto, just to see the depictions of these characters in this style, you know, it broke my brain a little bit when I was reading the manga years ago, and to see it animated it's even better. Uran is one of my favorite characters, and she can be annoying sometimes, but here they fit her in quite nicely, and just like in the original story, she forms a bond with Pluto, as you see in one of the center episodes of this story. She's not at the final showdown like she was in the original story, but I think that would have been too much going on, and I don't think it would serve the story too much if she was there when Tobio and Pluto are fighting. But their connection is pretty great, and to see what her abilities are too, like the empathic ability that she has on display is fantastic. Dr. Ochanamisu, he never gets enough props, but he's kind of like the adoptive caretaker of both Adam and Uran, and he's the creator of Uran as well. And I love how his character is kind of a supporting mentor for those two characters in this, and to see his kind of stature, or his how different he is from Dr. Tenma was a nice juxtaposition for this as well, especially the conversation they have towards the end of the series. And speaking of Dr. Tenma, as Chris said, Keith David, I that was the best surprise about this, is finding out that Keith David was involved in this project. You know, because I thought they would probably go and approach someone who's voiced them before, like Nicolas Cage, but they went with Keith David, which is even a better choice. And he approached this with as much, in his style and way. And I'd love to see an interview where he talks about playing this character and what he thought about the character in the end. But the scene where he's seated at the table with Adam, and they're having dinner, and you could see that he's just displeased with himself and displeased with the situation, and he slowly begins to reveal to Tobio that you're just a copy that I made of my son. He hated this meal. He never cleaned his room, and all the things that Adam does to try to be the best son he can to him, Tobio would have never done. So it shows him that, you know, he can never replace his son, which is also a realization he comes to in the manga as well, which is why the two are distant. But the voice acting is fantastic. I want to watch this in Japanese, because they have a murderer's row of seiyuu in this, including Romy Park. Going to Gishist, I'm never going to get the name right, but going to him, he's such a fantastic central character. Every time I see him, I'm reminded of Snatcher, and of course, the main character of Blade Runner as well. But he's far more chill than they are, and looks like we lost Neo. Oh shit! Well, hopefully
his internet went down.
Oh damn! Well, hopefully he'll be back soon. But yeah, he's such a great central character, and as his mystery slowly unravels, and we find out that he did indeed kill Adolf's brother in a fit of rage over the death of his adopted son, you know, you would feel that he was right to kill this bastard. But, you know, robots are not supposed to kill. So it goes to show that despite the programming, they have the ability to make that choice when pushed to the limit. And so eventually that is something that humankind is going to have to deal with. Maybe not every AI or robot is capable of that, but some of them are. And to Gajist's credit, he's far more advanced than most robots that are out there. You know, just like Astro Boy is. but he's still a fantastic character. He has a moral core, and following him along and how he interacts with the other seven mightiest robot, the six other mightiest robots, and his confrontation with Pluto is fantastic too. The fact that he wanted to talk to him as opposed to fight him to the death, I thought was such a genius move on his part, because he wanted to reach out to him person to person and see if he could talk him off that cliff, and damn sure came close. But he was kind of snuffed out a little early before they had a chance to talk again. But Professor Abullah is another fascinating character. The fact that you find out that he's actually a facsimile of the original one and had no idea that he was is a mindfuck twist towards the end, which I absolutely love. I love that he has that crisis of personality, and then kind of goes off on board to destroy the world in a sense. But his character is an interesting one throughout the whole run of the series, and he's kind of the core of the mystery of this, and he helps to string things together. But I'd be remiss not to mention Epsilon. Epsilon, man, that destroyed me. That ruined me, man. To see that he cared for so many orphans, much like Brando did, and then he ends up sacrificing himself to save the one orphan that witnessed Bora during the war. And shout outs to the other guy. What was his name? He has the same name as anyway, the bodyguard robot that he was working with. To see those guys working together, and him using the last of his powers to save those two, I thought was an incredible way for him to go out. And when Tobio had to go and face off with Pluto, I was filled with rage too. It's like, kill this motherfucker, please. But of course,
we also got to mention, as far as these robots go, the tragedy of Sahad.
Yes.
Who, we learned was this robot who was, very dedicated to doing good for the world and wanting to turn the desert into fields of flowers, and then, let himself be turned into this tool for his father's revenge. And it's just, it's a very sad story.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. You get to know him in the arc where Uran is helping him along the way, and taking care of him, and he's trying to figure out, what his purpose is, and painting the wall and all of that. And then later on, you find out about him when he was a student in just last episode as well. But yeah, he was just to kind of get to the core of him was also a nice journey as well. And hell, we can't forget about Brow 1589. The
creepiest robot there is.
Yes. Yeah. Freaking Hannibal.
Our internet's been bad here all day because of the rain.
Oh.
So all our lines are underneath, and this happened last year when we had all this rain.
Whew.
I think it's fucking with the underground stuff. So yeah, I'm actually on my cell phone right now.
Oh shit!
The Wi-Fi's been acting up all day. Even the free one in the neighborhood is completely down.
Hey, whatever way you can do it.
I'm
glad you have an option. Hey, I'm glad you're back. But yeah, the scenes with Brow were fascinating, and of course reminds most people of Silence of the Lambs, which I'm sure Urasawa was a big fan of as well. And his character added a lot of flavor to the story, especially when he's sitting there talking to Dr. Temba towards the end. But the ending is abrupt, but I think it's perfect for the story being told, because ultimately that the issue gets resolved after the battle between both Tobio and Pluto, or Adam, I should say. But they come to a consensus, and then have to work together to take on Bora, and it's just an expertly crafted scene, I would say, and they definitely spent a great deal of the budget on that. And overall, the production in this is great. M2, I am so glad they finished this. I thought for a while, because we hadn't heard anything for years. They showed trailers at press shows and stuff like that, but nothing to the public for years. And then we finally get a trailer maybe about 2 years ago. and to promise us that it's coming. Halfway through the pandemic, they dropped the trailer, and it's like, oh, finally, we're gonna get to see this. And sitting down and watching all 8 episodes, I am so grateful for this series being on. It's a series that it's very it's lauded, but not well known by a lot of people. And honestly, I don't think Netflix did enough to advertise this in general. I think they kind of
Well, they never do with their anime.
Yeah, which is insane.
No.
Because this should be winning
They
awards.
bury almost everything they do.
This should be winning awards left and right and being talked about more. I was hoping, because I've been looking up reviews of this, and I've found very little in the form of reviews. By comparison, Blue Eye Samurai is getting a lot of shine, which I'm glad to see. But I'd love to see this series get as much shine as that. And I'm hoping that in some way it'll be recognized in the future. But the music's great. Yugo Kanno does the music, which we've heard his work before. The animation is fantastic. And it's almost a 1-to-1 adaptation of the manga. It's been a while since I've read the manga, so I couldn't tell you specifically if it is 1-to-1. But I'm certain. Most of the scenes I remember of the manga ended up in this. So a great presentation. I can't recommend it enough to people. If you have Netflix, please check this out. It's 8 episodes, an hour a piece per episode on average. And if you like Cyberpunk, if you like Astro Boy or Tetsuwan Atom, you're going to have a treat with this. Fellas, now that I've rambled off at the mouth, any additional thoughts about this at all?
Well, we'd have to do our ratings.
I'm saying before we do that, I just want to know if there's anything you didn't get to say before we get into our ratings.
I think you're right. I mean, it's only 8 episodes for an hour each. I mean, it's a quick watch. It's a good story. It's like I said, I still feel like it's more of just a human story, but they're just using robots in place of this because it seems like just stuff that people ask in general, and just how bad people are to each other. And I mean, you almost, it's kind of funny. You almost feel bad for AI because if it's going to be programmed by man to think for itself, it's going to end up having the same problems. So I guess that's kind of the moral of the story too.
We make these things in our image, and is it any surprise that our worst traits are reflected in that?
Oh,
exactly.
It's not a surprise.
So, but no, I mean, yeah, you're right. I think in terms of just offerings from Netflix in general, it's a good offering, and definitely one of their better anime offerings that we've seen. So.
And it's a complete story, so they can't cancel it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Touche.
Yes. Yeah, it was actually played out perfectly. They're like, okay, we're going to sell this to Netflix. We only have one season. It's like, yeah, we do. Okay. That's the way. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah. I don't have anything else.
Chris, any final thoughts at all before we move on to ratings?
Absolutely watch it. I might revisit this at some point in Japanese to see how that cast sounds.
Same.
I was thinking the same thing. I kind of did some. I kind of watched a little bit of it, but I didn't. I kind of just. And it's it seemed pretty strong. But you're right. It was definitely one of those. The good English dub. Especially now when a lot of times it feels like they're kind of crapping these dubs out just to meet the demand of people. This was actually done well. So
absolutely. Well, we'll go to ratings then, man. Neil, why don't we start with you, man? What is your rating for Pluto?
I'm gonna give it four robot overalls out of 5. That was the only thing that was so goofy to me. I kept looking at the Mont Blanc, and it's like, oh, he's like clearing the trees with the tree on his shoulder, and he's there with the kids, and he's just got like this stoic look with his silly overalls. I'm like, why would a robot need overalls? But I don't know. Okay, whatever. Especially his type of robot. Like,
exactly.
He might have had a murder penis sword for the war, and he wants to cover that up.
That is true. That is.
You saw how funky North number 2 looked when he took
Yes.
off his cape.
I know. Yeah.
Lord knows what he had underneath there.
I guess. Yeah. You bring up a good point. So I guess that. So those overalls are needed. Yes. Four robot overalls out of 5.
Nice. Chris, what is your rating?
I'm gonna give this series 4.5 Tinny Tims out of 5.
Oh,
Nice. Well done. As for me, I think this is perfect. Reading the manga, I had the same feels. I'm gonna give this 5 out of 5 rocket boosters. Rocket boost feet out of 5. And also a recommendation: if you've never played it, find it. It's the game of Astro Boy from Treasure on the Game Boy Advance. It's one of the best games I have ever played. It is phenomenal, and it covers this arc, the original version of this arc. So if you want to play through that, you're more than welcome to. You will fight Pluto in it. So yeah, definitely, if you can find that, by all means, tear through it with my compliments. It's a fantastic rendition, fantastic game of Astro Boy, and it's made by Treasure, which is one of the greatest game studios ever. So definitely find it if you can. Other than that, Neil, I'll turn it back over to you.
phenomenal. Yeah, you're doing the gym room. Phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but guys, anything before we close it on out? Now you give it back to Soul Bro to where he can reach us.
Oh shit! I'll while you guys think of that, I'll go ahead and give our details here. Make sure to check us out at MAHQ.net. That's the Mecha and Anime headquarters. We let you know that new line art for the new Gundam Seed movie is now up. It's barely different from the previous one, so definitely go in there and check out those.
No, there's color changes.
There's slight color changes. Go in there and revel in those slight color changes.
and then post something on Mecha Talk and immediately get banned.
Exactly. Please, but go there, make sure it's in your favorites, and check it often. New articles go up on the regular, and thank you guys for supporting the website, Gundam.podbean.com. New episodes of the audio podcast go up this weekend. I actually have 5 on deck. I just have to put the information into them, and they're going to be going up starting tomorrow. So please go there and check those out. Also, make sure to check us out on Facebook at MAHQ1. It's one of the groups there. You just search for MAHQ1 and you'll find us. And definitely join the conversation there. You can also find us on Blue Sky, just under Gundam. Blue Sky, just search Gundam. You'll find us also MAHQ.DOTNET. Make sure to follow us there on Blue Sky. Don't worry about X. If you follow us on X, that's cool. I'll still post there, but I'm not looking to expand, so it's cool. Also, if you're watching here on YouTube, thank you so much. You're more than welcome to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you like the show. And check out our archive of previous episodes here. We've got several years of streams up here, so you're more than welcome to check those out whenever you feel. And also, you can watch live on twitch.tv/FightersReady. Props to Robin and Doc, and also Dala, who's watching over on Twitter. Thank you guys for watching over there. Sorry, not Twitter, but twitch.tv/FightersReady. Other than that, that's all I got, man. Back to y'all.
It's not Twitter, it's X.
It's X.
Well, Chris, I hope that you continue on with your banning record this year. It seems like 2024 has started out to be a good year of banning, and more power to you. So, anything before we get out of here?
No, that's it.
All right. Shit.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us for episode 287 of Gundam. In this one, we talked about the Netflix anime series Pluto, and we'll be back in a few weeks with episode 288. Talk to you guys later.
これが私専用の赤い照り焼きだ。ガーリックとベーコンの衝撃、赤いガーリック照り焼き。辛さは最大限に生かす。それが私の主義だ。スパイシーチーズとハラペーニョ、シャア専用体縁。この感覚、アムロ、いやトリチ。トリプルチーズがニュータイプ、白いトリチ。これでこそ私のマックだ。シャア専用マクドナルドへようこそ。
Shit. I ain't doing his dirty work no more. No. No! It's the Colonel! Keep away!